Hush, little baby, don't say a word.
This is a conspiracy channel.
Welcome to the Hush Channel.
Monsters come in a variety of sizes. To most people, monsters are generally perceived as somewhat large, hulking, and normally threatening creatures. Not all monsters are large, however, and some of the most terrifying tales of attack and depredation in the Ozark Mountains are associated with strange creatures, reputed to be no more than 3 feet tall. The remote regions of the Ozark Mountains, where the states of Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma share a common boundary, are reputedly the ancient home of a tribe of vicious monsters. What distinguishes these monsters from all others is that they are diminutive, growing to a height of only a few feet. In spite of their relatively small size, however, they have been responsible, according to local folklore and legend, for a number of attacks, for terrorizing Indians and early settlers alike, and for occasionally killing and eating livestock and humans. The folklore of several North American Indian tribes contains references to what have generally come to be known as the Little People. For some tribes, these little people are regarded as spirits that inspired and performed positive acts. Some consider them good luck. Other tribes, however, regard the little people as demons with a propensity for evil and for killing. Early stories of these creatures are attributed to the Osage Indians, early Ozark dwellers who once lived in the aforementioned region. Occasional travelers in the area sometimes mentioned the little people, describing them as consisting of small families or tribes, which inhabited the densely wooded portions of the Ozarks here, sometimes living in caves, sometimes in thickets of briars and other undergrowth. Many years before the settlement of white men in this area, the Indians who frequented the region were forced to contend with the depredations of these malicious creatures. Described as being no more than 2.5 to 3 feet tall, these strange little Ozark people possessed a dark brown skin, similar to the color and texture of tanned leather. Covered in a fine and sometimes sparse, reddish-brown hair that grew about 4 inches long, they went about totally naked and traveled in bands of 6 or 7. Furthermore, reports of albino forms of these little people are common. In addition to their diminutive stature, the most remarkable features of the little people were their fierce visages and their disproportionately long, razor-sharp teeth. Their misshapen heads contained large, cruel, glaring eyes. The movements of these small creatures were quick, almost squirrel-like, and they were capable of running through the woods at a high rate of speed. It was said that a group of them could easily overtake and bring down a mature deer. It has also been said they could move through the trees almost as fast as on the ground. The little people often attacked the hunting camps of the Indians who frequented the area. One tale relates an incident where a hunting party departed camp, leaving a member to watch over the horses. When the hunters returned the following day, their companion, as well as one of the horses, had been killed and partially eaten by the little people. Before he was slain, the Indians slew one of the tiny monsters, and for years afterward, the curious body was carried from village to village and placed on display. Rumors abound throughout this part of the Ozarks that the mummified remains of the creature came into the possession of one of the early white settlers and was handed down to family members over the generations. Some claim it was eventually placed in a trunk and is currently stored in the attic of a residence somewhere in Delaware County, Oklahoma. Sometime during the 1950s, a reporter from an Oklahoma City newspaper allegedly tracked down the owners of the little monster and was allowed to view it. He took several photographs, but neither they nor an article were ever published. Numerous references to the little people have also been found in the journals and diaries of early French explorers who entered this area. Time and again, trapping and exploration parties were forced to fight off nightly attacks by these hideous folk who lurked just beyond the light of the campfires, waiting for a chance to dash into the camp and secure a victim. Early white settlers in the region also reported a number of encounters with the little people during the first half of the 19th century. After losing livestock, as well as an occasional citizen, to the fierce and carnivorous creatures, armed parties of men entered the woods and hunted them down, often killing as many as 3 or 4 in a single night. After several months of these nightly hunts, the depredation slowed and eventually ceased altogether. Many, however, do not believe that all of the little people were killed off. To this day, backpackers and hunters who spend the night in the Ozark woods near the Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma border sometimes report strange visits by small forms they describe as human-like in appearance, with oversized eyes, grotesque heads, and long, sharp teeth. Most who listen to these reports scoff at them, claiming they are little more than the products of active imaginations, But those who have seen the little people stick hard and fast to their stories. Old-timers in the region warn us to listen closely to the reports and to consider them seriously. When interviewed, many of them confess a fear that someday the little people will return in force, and no one living in the remote regions of the mountains will be safe. Story credits of W.C. Jameson, Ozark Tales of Ghosts, Spirits, Hauntings and Monsters. This concludes this tape.